An arrangement can help us both. You will empty the seas of competition in exchange for profit.
Hunting ship for Rauatai? Where do I begin?
This courage will win you many battles, I think. A Scylla wave skipper is your first target. A pirate shirking any pretense of lawful conduct in the open seas.
Wakoyo grimaces and itches at his scar. I'll take it.
Most excellent. A Scylla commands the Voyager River Dragon, which pesters a group of islands to the southwest of Port Mage.
Before I go, I had some questions.
Ask away, my privateer. I would not have you take to the water uninformed.
Are you afraid of privateering will cause you a war?
An official reckoning is drafted to account for every cannonball shot in the name of Rauatai. Our paperwork is most thorough. For every ship sunk, there is a legal justification. Our enemies will know the war is started on the day we fail to turn in our paperwork.
What bounties do you have for available?
You have your assignment, privateer, but the spirit, our enemies sow discord in the waves while you tarry. Let no one say aha the lazy privateer. Seek your target and be done.
Alright. Calm yourselves.
Last time I ship out with some soft-handed runt.
I have been in this godforsaken city for like 10 hours.
Why does your Ranga carve his name into a rock?
The Ranga Nui, and it's a commemoration to show what he built.
Oh. Then did your Raparo also write their names on other stones? For what do you squawk and gloat over a heap of stones? Akira, you Rauataians are strange cousins indeed.
A well-dressed Hauna woman shakes her head at the Rauataian man. The stone of their debate is spirited but not unfriendly.
The brass citadel is a marvel of modern engineering. With the gates barred and the cannons primed, it can withstand any attack and weather any storm.
He and his Wano friend run to regard you.
Surely you can see what a fine stronghold this is.
I'm sure the brass citadel is very nice.
Please, spare us empty pleasantries. We transformed a rocky cove into the best defended harbor in Nekataka. Such achievements must be celebrated.
This rocky cove was once a prized fishing spot for the Riparu. These Rauataians act as if every bare islet is merely awaiting a fort or a farm. They cannot look at anything without planning to change it.
To strive is to survive. Those who would achieve greatness must make the world a better, more ordered place than they found it.
Why change the world when you can learn to live in it the way it is? This is what my people have done for thousands of years.
We should ask what provides the greatest benefit, a fishing spot or a harbor?
Must we sacrifice the needs of the few to the whims of the many then?
Yes. She spread her hand at you in question, but she isn't angry.
Kira, nothing invigorates like a good discussion. Thank you for indulging us.
She grins. With that, they turn towards from you and resume the discussion. Okay. Yes, the good of the many always overrate the good of the few.
Fought to victory, Rauatai! Triumph over your foes! Storm shall never bend your backs, nor battles break your swords. Mighty winds sent us north to the shores of Rauatai, till our fire ships bore us out to Deadfire once again.
Okay.
Green islands and blue skies.
The locals don't know how good they have it.
Two guard gazes over the rampart at the vista, green birds shining in the ever distance, and the rippling sea beyond.
Can you believe your eyes? I've never seen such a fair, pristine land.
If you like this, you must see the jungle of Adira at the Valley of the Living Lands.
I've heard they're grand, but I can't imagine they compare to this.
I grew up surrounded by storms and stones. Rauatai is my soul. But this place has enchanted me.
He blinks quickly as if afraid to miss the view even for a moment.
It's the land. Fertile, green, and abundant.
No, it's something else. I just can't put my finger on what.
Deadfire has a vast archipelago rich in resources.
There's so much here. So much we could make of this place.
Perhaps that's it.
He turns his back to the view. He turns his back to the view, drinking it in. Alright, let's go to the Imperial Command.
All this trouble over a tablet of fucking stone. If my company's standing wasn't on the line, I would have written this one off as a loss already.
I'm just gonna finish it. Here you go.
After all the trouble and effort, somehow I never expected this day would come.
She hefts the tablet and grin, tucking it away.
My thanks on behalf of the Royal Deadfire Company. We remember our friends and what in Remergon's hairy backside is that?
She squints at the approaching figure, making herself known with a dark, harsh, clearing its throat.
Hey, you the Watcher?
Imp prods you to get your attention. What is it to you?
Arkhamir, the Great Master, has returned. Invites you to join him at the estate. Says you know where that is.
Jim let out a harsh, distorting chuckle, holding his claw in front of his mouth to hide his mischievous grin. What is this about?
Oh no, Master doesn't tell us imps anything.
I'll see him when I have time.
But whoever has time, you have to make time.
The imp nods himself thoughtfully.
Find Master in his study. Don't be late.
The imp winks at you and flutter away.
It would seem the old wizard is more observant than I credited him. Just wonderful.
Tamara squeezed the bridge of her nose.
Never mind. The company has assets enough to recompense him. What matters is that the tablet is ours, and the path to Okaizo made clearer.
She grins to herself. Farewell.
What do you reckon the odds are Arkhamir wants to congratulate us for a robbery well done?
Hopefully he'll give us something cool. Or I'll kill him. So one way or another. He's a mage. He can't be that hard to kill. Lower command. A young woman with a bright white smile and eyes matched raises her hand and gives you a quick but enthusiastic wave. Then, with an exaggerated look of embarrassment, she stops herself and crosses her forearm over her chest.
I always forget that part. Say, you're the Watcher of Cadnua, aren't you? I've never met anyone famous before, except the Hazanui. She yells at me sometimes.
The Hazanui yells at you?
Oh, all the time.
She screws her face up and looks into the mock seriousness until she can't keep herself from smiling.
Where's my white leaf? Stop daydreaming. So, Bormy, if you lose the letters again, I'll have you clean the latrines.
At this last comment, she leans close, her eyes wide and voice low with awe.
All this time, I didn't realize she knew my name.
Are you always this excitable?
It's just, this is my first time away from the rough country. I'd heard there were thick, green forests and sandy beaches without a storm in sight, but I never imagined this.
She shakes her head in wonderment.
You must have traveled lots, seen all sorts of amazing places.
And had adventures you wouldn't believe. See the world, Sabori. Travel is grand.
I sure hope to. I love Rawatai, but it's hard to go a week without seeing storms, or hearing about mudslides burying a village somewhere.
Her buoyant expression sags, but only for a moment. You're the quartermaster. Can you tell me something?
I really wish I could, but my supplies are for the Royal Deadfire Company and our allies. Hazanui's orders. Maybe if you impress her or Atsura, they could make an exception.
She smiles hopefully. Well, if you won't sell it to me, I'm gonna steal it. So where did this go? But before I talk to the Haunui, whatever her name is.
Say, lass, I'd like to try prodding your forts again. Savvy?
I can tell you what I see right now. Your insides are on your outsides, and you're covered in flies. It ain't the prettiest of sights, but go ahead, if you're feeling brave.
Ah, I see. Plagued by nightmares then, lass. Skies afire, boiling seas, that sort of shit?
Sure am. Don't try to hide it, neither. Tribulations from the gods are a blessing, not a curse.
Well, I ain't one for knowing gods and prophecies, but I can be sharing with you the ancient pirate's secret for sleeping like a babe, if that be of interest to you.
Of course, I wouldn't mind a reprieve. Just for a night or a few. If you got something, tell me.
Rum. Barrels of rum. Drink it till you see free of me, and you'll be sleeping through Kraken attacks.
Leave it to me.
Did you see those awful verses by the kitchen?
They weren't that bad.
She was the one who wrote them.
Rhyming Hazanui with kablooey?
I can't think of anything else that goes with Hazanui.
Me neither. That's why I leave epics to the lore college.
Criticism is easier than creation.
Atsura. The man behind the desk regards you with attentive, unblinking eyes and a perfectly open expression. His smooth features make it hard to pinpoint his age, though the crinkle in his corner of the eye suggests he's not especially young. He cocked his head, taking your measure. He paused before speaking, just a little longer than it seemed normal. When he finally does, he crosses his forearm over his chest and gives you a show exquisitely courteous nod. The whole gesture is so perfectly choreographed that it seemed he must have practiced it many times.
Watcher Nui, the Lady of Cadnua.
He gives you a sleek half smile that reveals row perfectly pointed teeth. His careful stare and the pause before he speaks recognize that he is studying you.
I'm not one for ostentation, but your remarkable display at Queen's birth suggests that you are an individual with skills, not mere style.
I do what has to be done, and I don't let anything stand in my way.
Deadfire could certainly use more people with your gumption.
His eyes shine with interest. He blinks perhaps for the first time since your conversation began.
I am Atsura, Grand Secretary of the Royal Deadfire Company.
It sounds like a significant title, but he is strangely emotionless. He might as well describing the color of his clothing. And what's your business here?
Rawatai has long maintained trade interests in the region.
He gives you that unusually placid smile again.
While our homeland is rich in saltpeter, the violent climate and rocky soils make it a poor source for most other basic staples. It's my business to look after the mainland's interests here.
He spread his hand wide to include his rather plain dim office. Does the interest include Luminous Adra?
That is a Valian frivolity. Leave it to them to observe a substance that occurs nowhere else on Aora, and immediately set about pulverizing it for profit.
What will you do with it?
Nothing. We know too little about Luminous Adra to understand the consequences of ripping it out.
True.
Perhaps you can help me keep them from doing more harm.
Well, I don't want to pick a fight with the Valians just for you.
It's not about what the Valians are doing to us, but rather to all of the Deadfire.
Concern tugs at his lips.
The demand for Luminous Adra has sent the Valian Trading Company into a frenzy. Their expeditions grow too bold, and their officers too greedy.
He puckers his lips as though a lack of discretion at a dinner party.
Worse, their rapid expansion attracts pirates and threatens the outlying Juana tribes. This risks souring the Kahanga royals against all foreign involvement.
He inclines his head like he's about to let you in on a secret.
But you can curtail their growth.
This isn't about the welfare of the Deadfire. This is about them outpacing you.
By snapping up land we need to grow food and build ships for our people? Indeed. But our interests and Deadfire's are not mutually exclusive.
He interlaces long, well-manicured fingers.
The Valians have sent an expedition to Pococahara, a storm-wrecked island believed to house a vein of luminous. I hear you accomplished an incredible feat in restoring the luminous Adra near Port Maje.
He appraises you again with the unblinking eyes.
If your abilities allow you to do that, then perhaps you are also capable of the opposite. Find the luminous Adra at Pococahara. Render it unusable to the Valians. This should encourage them to develop the resources they have, rather than reaching for more.
His eyebrow rises to agree, both a request and invitation. Why would I help you?
Because governors like Clario are a rare breed. Most of the Valian administrators care little for the well-being of the Huana. If the Valians claim Pococahara, it is the locals who will truly suffer.
I thought you were concerned about disturbing the luminous Adra.
Deeply.
He furrows his brow, frowning deeply. Abruptly, his expression clears.
But if a small sacrifice here will discourage the Valians from further ventures, then it is a worthwhile risk.
What's to say I don't tell the Valians about this?
For all their faults, they don't lack imagination. I'm confident they know of our intentions. Deadfire is a tumultuous place. Consider the value of an ally with ships, cannons, and the backing of a great empire.
He gives you a soothing smile.
I do not have the precise location of Pococahara, but the tribe on the nearby island of Tikawara could probably help. I suggest starting there.
He circles a small out-of-the-way island on your map.
Now, what else can I do for you?
You seem to be different than the rest of the Royal Deadfire Company.
How do you mean that?
Come on, you know exactly what I mean. He lowers his head, watching you all the while.
Are you making advances at me?
No.
It's for the best. This would be a most inconvenient time to begin an attachment.
Oh my god.
How do you mean that?
You're hard to read.
It comes from years of practice. It's the only way I've learned to beat Karanui at Hazatoa. How do you mean that?
You're not a soldier?
Rawatai is composed of many types, but it's true many here are soldiers and engineers, none of whom are especially diligent about paperwork. How do you mean that? Are you making advances at me?
Yes.
While I'm not opposed to casual assignations, I'm afraid my duties here leave me little time.
He smiles
or
sympathetically.
energy. If that changes, I promise you'll be the first to know. How do you mean that? Are you making advance? While I'm... If that change... How do you mean that? Are you making advance? It's for the best. This would be a... How do you mean that? As you wish.
Jesus Christ. He hesitates, looking at you with the answer is obvious.
It's a trading post, of course.
What do you trade?
Rawatai is rich in saltpeter, copper, and a few other profitable minerals. We generally trade for food and timber, which grow poorly in the rough country. The Valians have become aggressive competitors in recent years, but our ships were plying the seas long before the Republic's declared independence. We learned the value of defending our goods and ships long ago.
He smiles placidly.
Clear skies. It's a trading post, of course.
Your trading post has highball cannons and guard towers.
Anything worth building is worth protecting. It's a trading I just did.
Okay. Cool.
There's something ahead.
I can be quiet. Yeah.
Goodness. Well, we're done with this place. Is currently meeting at the palace in Serpent's Crown. Great.
Last time I ship out with some
I was to
soft-handed
understand that our
runt.
business is concluded.
Well, let's go through the sacred stair. Oh my gosh.
So you defeated this ship-devouring beast all by yourself?
I'm telling you, you just have to aim for the eye.
Bleeding me dry. All I needed was a few damn components.
The woman muttered to herself, glancing resentfully between the construct and surround her. What are you doing here?
What? I haven't the time necessary to illuminate you. Be on your way.
Katrine, I assume. Say your farewells.
Oh, not this again. There's a dozen of you fools in every city.
Run! 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 Okay, good. That's all I need. Okay. I need to summon that.
Yes?
It makes no difference.
This thing isn't doing...
No pressure!
I need something sharper.
What the fuck? Why is there so many?
A quick rest would help if you don't mind.
Oh my fucking god! There's like 1,000,000 of them! What the fuck?
So you defeated this ship-devouring beast
I
all
dare you
by
to go
yourself?
inside.
I'm telling you,
Tingle
you just
will
have to
eat
aim
me.
for the eyes.
A massive door looms over you. The edges are sealed so tight, not a breath of air escapes them. Religious runes sprawl the length, carved deeply into the pit of stone. Something about stepping into the jaws of Tangrula with a full heart, charming prospects, I say. Tendiku examined the door, stroking his chin. The door shuddered and groans as you approach. Inspect it. An elaborate etching spanning the stones with carved strangely beneath the rune. His big and small crown is okay. It likely necessitates to open the eel's coil. Okay. The tree root below is the open tombs wall. Peer over the precipice. Okay. Secure a rope. Oh, so that's one way of getting into the tomb. And there's another way of getting into the tomb. Okay. Or I can go into the temple. I don't know. Devotee of Magrin. I have no idea why.
Leading me. Oh, not season.
Better than that. Makes no difference.
Well?
This thing isn't doing the job. You'll be paying for that. I need something strong.
Well?
Need to help?
Bring them down.
Well? I'll have to.
This will not do.
Bring them down.
Never you mind that, miss. I'll land the next one.
Frog in the figurehead. Things are
Pay for this.
Just a little blood.
Jesus Christ.
You must need. Makes no difference.
Another withers on the vine.
This will not do.
Breathe through leak. Rebirth awaits me.
You need something.
cropped out, didn't I?
Ah, that worth and rough.
Hardly. Darkness flows and
Shorty needs a priest.
Yeah, she is way too high level. And this game is all about levels, apparently. There's no reason, like, I cannot beat her right now. I need to be like level 50 or some bullshit.
well, you go in first.
Oh, he can't pick fire abilities.
Speak your mind. Speak your mind, naturally.
Let's go in here and do her stuff first. She needs to pray at this thing, right? So, might as well do it. An ailing Amana priest regard your approach with curiosity. He coughs into his sleeve, stained with splatter of silvery flecks.
Come closer to the altar. Come inside. The temple welcomes all to worship, most especially you.
The priest peered knowingly at the center of your chest, lips curving in an ardent smile, hands trembling. He touches the length of a chain around his neck.
I ask only for no talking. Not until we pay our respects to Bereth, to Rikuhu. Let us pray.
He bows his head.
Silent prayer? Where are the songs, I say? Did you learn this from Valians?
Again, I ask that you please fall silent for prayer.
Yeah, I'll pass. The priest's head whip up. He gapes but nods, while murmuring a rushed prayer behind his stained sleeve. I'm looking for Isir's tomb.
Do you even know what it takes to make it deep into the hanging sepulchres? To make it alive? I know the way, but...
His words catch his throat, but he curves forward in a spine-racked fit, hacking until he flush-faced, fumbling a goat skin flask in his hip. He drinks until minnow silver liquid dribbles over and slick his chin.
Better.
He wheezes, but whipping a palm over his chin.
The timing's getting tighter. And there is one thing before the end. Something only one touched by Bereth can do.
You covered something that you can't get to, something that you can't get access, because you lack Beerus's chime.
That's right. I've got no hope, but you do.
He tugs at a chain around his neck.
My eels. My infinity coil keeps rattling. Pendants resonating with your chime.
The priest pressed the palm of his hand into the front of his chest. He stares scrutinizingly at your face. He shakes his head, disappointed.
The coil resonates, but it's weak. You could unseal the way, but you'd die inside, I think. My chance would be lost then. Lost with your remains.
Kith bearing Beerus's chimes are rare. This may be the only chance you get.
My time's waning fast. Right you are on that.
He sighs, wavering on his feet. He releases his grip on the pendant with a feeble nod.
I'd best not let this chance pass. There's a sacred text. The eulogy to Isaiah. It's been buried in the catacombs beneath the temple for centuries, next to his champions. I need it. Of course, the tombs, they only open to the dead, or those bearing Bereth's chime.
Why do you need it?
It never was added to the tomes, but it holds the final clues for my death. It's my best chance. I prayed for decades, night to day and night again. Now, here you are, just in time. Means Bereth sent you to see to my success.
Alright, have a look at that. The priest bobbed his head from beneath his shirt. He untucked stone carved circling image of an eel. Well, there you go. The pendant vibrated on the length of the chain, thumbing harder than closer in view before.
You're my best chance. Or only, maybe. Take the coil. It'll open the crypts. Bring me a sayer's eulogy, and I'll teach you all I know of Bereth's arcana.
I have some question about Ysir and the catacomb beneath the temple.
I'll tell you what I can.
Tell me the story of Ysir.
He's no Juana, nor a death godlike neither, but he was a high priest of Bereth. His hair was a Diran, a hunter, chasing the undead 200 years ago. Read somewhere, one tome, he sailed to the Deadfire for a weapon, abhorrent to Bereth. Said the blade held a power most fearful.
The priest's face flushed with fervence. His voice rises in volume, and he speaks until his breath catches. And he doubles over in hacking fit.
Ysir fought hard for it, won the blade, but suffered grievous wounds. Bereth kept him alive till he could make it to the temple's catacombs. His champions were the ones who wrote his eulogy. Later, they were buried in the sepulchres too.
Was Ysir buried with the weapon he took from Lucia Rivan?
Don't know. Did hear he was slain with a coveted blade. The Estok was an affront to Bereth. That I did read. Ysir wanted to guard it with his soul and his always.
How do I enter the catacomb under the temple?
You've got to go outside, on the lower walkway. Doors sealed up tight, though. Priests before me, all death godlikes, could open it. Door requires a coil, resonating with Bereth's chime. But I haven't met a death godlike in my time.
I'd like to know more about the hanging sepulchres.
They're from the long-forgotten time, when there was only Juana living in the mountain. They got carved in even before the temple sprung up. Before there was Nekataka or a queen. They're well guarded, because not all of Bereth's dead like the rest in their graves. All right. I will address your inquiries best as I can. So ask.
Tell me about the writing on these tomes.
Liturgies. Instructions for ritual preparations. When and how. Sermons. Some histories, too.
His fingers trail carefully across the stone as craggy as his skin.
All of this, it's our knowledge has gleaned through centuries of service. Now, I've got to leave it all behind for the next disciple.
Impressive altar. What else can the temple boast?
Under the temple, carved in the mountain's caverns, lies an extraordinary maze of catacombs. So I've read. They're the hanging sepulchres, burial place for ancient Juana chieftains. The bodies are protected by Bereth's best, roaming, always. Plus, the ways sealed by the deity itself.
You mentioned something about the undead in the catacombs.
The dead, with their souls, they roam still. The ones who were chosen by Bereth. Not everyone's born so blessed. Sometimes, instead, you've got to die for it.
This is Temple to Bereth, right? So who's Rikuhu, Kohopa, and Tangaloa?
The same. Your word, Bereth. Our word, Rikuhu. We worship the twin deal. The cyclic connection of the overworld and the underworld. Life and death. Life is Kohopa, and Tangaloa is death. Born starving, they devoured all living things, swelling larger each. When they'd swallowed all of existence, they tried to eat each other next. Now all things pass through their entrails. The end of one enters the mouth of the next, from the underworld to the overworld and back. Again and again.
I see something.
The gods.
Apparently that was not. Yeah.
Keep an eye out.
Well, if that wasn't where I needed to go. Gone is over there. Okay. Well, let's go to the Spire of Soul Seers. Rooftop.
Merla, burned. Well, that won't do it all.
I'll see it done.
Flan Elect. From her unkempt hair to her agitated pacing, Flan Elect gives off an air of restrained chaos. She waves you over for a few quick motions.
You don't mind if I talk and work, do you? What can I do for you?
She turns away and scrawl a quick note. You work here.
Not the coziest place for it, is it? But the open air, the lightning specifically, is a boon. Lets our mages have a rest now and then. Good test of the equipment too. We're working on making it less delicate. Our junior researchers are still a little soft.
She laughs. What are you working on here?
Glad you ask, Amika. Very glad. We are very excited about the work here, and we are always looking for volunteers. We've catalogued a number of interesting properties unique to Luminous Adra. But there are some very specific qualities we are investigating. Qualities that a Watcher happens to be uniquely suited to exploring. You're just what we're missing.
Is it dangerous?
No. Well, yes, what isn't? But not exceptionally dangerous. Luminous Adra has special effects upon Keith. Even to the humblest, it offers some small improvements. Rejuvenation, vitality, the kind of thing you sell to people back home, ne? But what about those who have already harnessed their own essence? Consider the talented Cutpurse, for instance, who can cross a room by slipping briefly into another place. The world between. Luminous Adra holds enormous quantities of essence, the kind of energy we can't replicate or restore. And these formations have a kind of connection to each other across the in-between. I believe we can harness this connection and your natural abilities to transport a person across great distances in a moment.
Your theory is sound. I've used Adra to track someone before.
Oh, good. You've done some experimenting on your own. A curious mind is a happy mind, I say. Can't mope about ghosts all day. We've collected a number of illuminating readings, and our machines are ready to harness the Adra's essence. But for the moment, We are effectively blind when it comes to targeting the next pillar. Now, if someone were capable of sensing that essence in the in-between, even of manipulating it, someone like a Watcher, for instance.
You want me to use my connection to the Adra? I could target a specific pillar.
Precisely right. We've had luck with shorter jumps, but those were as much spellcraft as science. The idea is for you to focus on the next connection point. The machine will use that new link between the Adra veins to create a tether, as well as provide the energy for you to jump effectively. What's really exciting is, so long as you are holding that connection open, your companions can jump alongside you.
How many tombs and vaults you be thinking have Adra pillars inside of them?
Sarah taps his bearded chin with a little single finger.
The next pillar is due east of here, in the middle of a farm. It's not as tall as this one, but you shouldn't have any trouble finding it. Oh, and don't worry. We paid the farmers.
What if something goes wrong?
There was that fellow that jumped a little too far over the edge.
Stop scaring our assistant.
Fine, let's do it.
Gelardi. Very well. You stand there. Ansel, the machine. All right, Watcher. Remember, focus on the beam of light. It ought to be like stepping through a door. And remember, don't...
Great.
Can't say this is what I imagined hell would look like.
Go down that hole, Captain. You ain't coming out again. Damn blast.
You
up there, run!
A wave the size of a mountain.
We have to go. Can't. No, please.
Great.
Help.
Oh, my people.
Let's summon it right here.
I am the last. I cannot die.
Alright. The summons are starting to get better and better and better and better.
Well, of course. Leave it to me. I'll see it done.
Shay Tekasi Bizu. Yeked
Leave it to me.
Tigewu Tikiki.
I conquered every city of the Greylands. They will remember my name.
Gods, an end at last. I beg you.
We're not alone. I'll see it done.
The beast.
Alright.
Hey, whose side are you on?
Kill them all! Bring them down!
This does not work.
No prisoners! So much for you.
This does not work. This thing isn't doing the job. I need something stronger. I need some
This does not work.
Taste this. What is it?
Of winter.
What? A wall from tessellation blocks of bismuth rises before you, and from out of that wall, just a face at least 3 amana high, his mouth hangs open in silent shouts, wide eyes. A damp, frigid wind screams between the rock. It carries whispers in his wake and chills you to the very core.
What have we here?
The voice of Rimgrand, or Rimgrand, a god, great, rumbles from the stone.
A wayward watcher has wandered into my realm. Whatever should I do with you?
The god chuckles, sounds like boulders crashing down the mountainside.
You will remember Glassval, I trust. He remains here, lingering in the in-between, refusing rebirth and dissolution both. A most irritating spirit. I will not thank you for sending him to me, but I will not concern myself with that for now. You did not receive an invitation to my realm, Herald of Barath. Tell me, why should I not grind your soul to dust?
The stone space splits into a broad smile. Go ahead. Try it. I dare you.
With pleasure.
Seraph eyes closes as he nods along. Do it already. Let me taste oblivion. Your shouts of defiance echoes out in the void. Rimmer is only too happy to oblige. Oh, that's hilarious. Great.
The beast.
I smell conflict in...
Hey, that wasn't that bad.
What the fuck?
What is it?
Another attack, Cap.
Gotcha now.
This thing isn't doing the job.
Bring them down! So much for you. No prisoners!
That up, didn't I?
Me and you are about to mix.
What a wayward you were a most, but you did not receive an invitation to my realm, Herald of Barath. Tell me, why should I not grind your soul to dust?
I doubt Barath would appreciate that.
I do not fear Barath's wrath. Embrace oblivion with open arms, Watcher.
Wait.
Do you fear dissolution after all? How droll, as much as it would delight me to scatter your soul. You belong to Barath. I will spare you that fate. For now.
After I'm done with Eilthus, I'll come back for you.
Delicious. You need only whisper my name, and I will open a portal to my realm. I cannot wait to see what you try. Now, On to the matter that brought you here. Your Animancer friends meddle in things beyond their comprehension. Were I not the generous creature I am, you would have died. Be sure to tell the Animancers that they have failed, and that they have drawn my gaze. I will not hesitate to obliterate them if they irritate me again. I do not make requests.
Rimgrand's voice booms from the stone, and the force of his words slamming into your nearly knocks you to the floor.
You might prepare yourself, Watcher, for something wondrous is on the horizon. Eothas will usher in an age glorious in its brevity.
What does that even mean?
You will soon learn. In the meantime, enjoy the world as you know it while you can. And do send my regards to your Animancer friends.
God, I'll never stray again if you just keep me away from Remergond.
Leave it to me.
Of winter.
I'll see it done. Leave it to me. I'll see it done.
The beast.
Leave it to me. Well?
Okay then. No fast travel for me, which makes so much sense.
Watcher, can you hear me?
You raise your head and find yourself surrounded by anxious faces. Fawn, withdrawn the finger, prodding at your temple, and nearly stumbles backwards.
Oh, thank the gods. Thank Helia. Merla, you had us in a panic.
Flan sets a hand on her chest and fans herself with the other.
I don't have to tell you it didn't work. The current spiked and you went completely still. Breathing, but nothing else. We sent for the physician. Myself, I was about to try throwing some water in your face. What happened? Did you feel any pain? Do you remember anything?
I nearly had my soul disintegrated because of you.
Please, stay calm. If you were in danger, it wasn't our intent. This is new territory for all of us. You experienced something. What was it?
No, I mean literally went to the beyond. I spoke to Remergond.
What was it like?
Not fun.
Sientere, Watcher, truly. It seemed we sent your mind further afield than intended, and without the rest of you in tow. Not entirely outside our predictions, but not the result we wanted. We have stipend for volunteers. You're welcome to the sum of it. I hope it goes some way toward earning your forgiveness. Just as I hope this hasn't put you off helping us. We just have to adjust the current, give you a chance to control your flight, for want of a better word. We're all very glad you're in one piece. We'll have a look at the machines, figure out what went wrong. Until then, I'm sure our friends at headquarters will want an update, and to see I haven't done you any permanent harm. We'll send word when we're ready here.
AoE domination. I'll take that, thank you. Revive, I'll take it. Increase the effect of healing. Okay, I'll take that. I need to respec my entire party because...
I'll take care of it.
Yeah.
Hope you're keeping busy, Watcher. We're still running some small tests. Not quite ready for the real thing. What can I do for you?
Can I ask you some questions?
Sure thing, Amica. Comes with the job, doesn't it?
Your accent doesn't sound very valiant.
Well, a few years in a deer will do that to you. Up to your armpits in jungle mud, insects, and snotty nobles. Probably would have been better off talking to the bugs.
Animancer weren't very popular in Direwood. Do the Hauna give you trouble?
Oh, things are much different here. The Huana may not have the same passion for the field as the Republics, but we understand we're doing research, not sacrificing children to wolves or whatever it is the Deerwood believes. So, no riots. Fortunately, news out of the Deerwood doesn't mean much to this lot.
Flan winks to undercut her teasing. Seems like a strange place to run experiments.
It took us a few months to adapt. A few bad shocks too before we finished proofing the machinery against rain. I like to think it lends it all a little drama, no?